Hello. We are going over the Socratic discussion questions for for Act 2 of Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar by William Shakespeare. This is in the Ignatius Critical Edition. And I have 10 whole questions that we're going to be going through today. This edition is actually really, really good. Most of the time when you get a book, you know how you do not read the introduction. I know I don't. I don't know if you do. But the introduction, the whole dang introduction in the beginning of the book, is actually... it gives you so much insight on the book itself. And what I particularly like about these books is that it has a really, really good introduction, and then at the end of the book, it gives you essays on the different subjects and themes of the book itself. And that can be compared to... I came up with this a little bit ago. I thought it was quite funny, but quite true. YouTube Shorts, or YouTube, when you were scrolling through the comments to see what this video is about, and there are those paragraph people, who they'll write the paragraph, or maybe just people talking about the video, and sometimes you find out more about the video itself through what people are saying about the video than by watching the video, which is the exact same thing for this book. You are finding more about the book than by reading the introduction and the essays written on it than you are from the actual book itself, which is the same thing for YouTube, I'd say, but for me at least. For example, I watched Cats the Musical, and no idea what was going on. Watched it like 4 times, read through so many different comments, figured it out because of the comments. And that's the exact same thing, or the commentaries, you get it now? On the books will tell you everything about it. You may think you understand it, and then you read it and you're like, oh, what? Anyways though, we're going to start in Act 2, Scene 1. I'm going to be reading you this section and then explaining it. 63 through 69. Okay. Between the acting of a dreadful thing and the first motion, all the interim is like a phantasma or a hideous dream. The genius and the mortal instruments are then in council, and the state of man, like to a little kingdom, suffers then the nature of an insurrection. Now, this has a lot of notes. Another thing I really like about these editions, those little numbers are explained here at the bottom, which is really helpful. For example, the first motion, 28, impulse, phantasma, hallucination, genius, guardian spirit, so not our genius, but it's a guardian spirit. State of man, human condition, nature of, a kind of. So he, at this moment, this is Brutus, and he is talking about what Cassius is doing to him. Cassius has wet him against Caesar, has put him against Caesar. And Brutus is awake at night. Every night he can't sleep. He keeps thinking of what Cassius says about Caesar, and he's like, what is he talking about? What does he mean? And, no, that's not what he's saying. He's saying he is at war within himself right now. Between the acting of a dreadful thing and the first notion, he's like thinking, and he is surprised. He's like, what? Because he's thinking of killing Caesar, and he's like a phantasma or a hideous dream. It's a fantasy or a hideous dream, but he's actually also dreaming it. He wants to kill Caesar. He wants this to happen. And he's just at war within himself because he's Caesar's good friend, Decius Brutus, And like to a little kingdom suffers the nature of an insurrection. An insurrection is not described, but no. So little kingdom, state of man, then in council, like all the people. He just got a letter actually that is wrongly signed by a random citizen, but was actually yet again Cassius. But Brutus yet again thinks, oh, another person is coming to me with hatred towards Caesar, and like, why would he? We don't want him to lead. And so Brutus is like, he shouldn't lead. We should lead. I should lead. And that's what's happening right here. Explain the symbolism in the conversation begun by Decius, which is Brutus, Decius Brutus, in Act 2, Scene 1, lines 101. Symbolism in the conversation. Okay. Lines 101 says, "Here lies the east. Doth not the day break here?" Everybody knows the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Right here. And then Casca says, "No. Doth not the day break here?" I'm asking myself these questions. I would say don't take my word, but I'm just... So the day break here could possibly mean... not... And then they go on to talk about the weather, the day breaking, the leap years, I guess. This could possibly mean a day is renewed. It's the same, it's like a new day, you know, it's a new day, that's what people say. And the sun rises. So this could possibly mean he's asking, does the sun not rise? Does Caesar not rise? Does the day not break? And then he says no. Casca, I believe, says no. Yeah. So that could possibly, don't take my word for it, but I think that could possibly mean, is he asking, will Caesar rise? Will he rise to this position of power the next day? Because that is, also, we all know this is what happens every day. This is just what happens, and this is what's going to happen. And he's like, no, this will not happen. We're not going to allow it to happen. That's what I think. You should read it. Decide for yourself. Aside from the reputation of the term redress, how else is the idea of correcting a wrong present in Act 2? They are... Actually, it's quite a simple question, so I'm like, is there some hidden terms in there I'm missing? They are correcting a wrong because they believe that Caesar is the wrong ruler, and the people want to elect Caesar as king. And so all of Caesar's officials, except for Mark Antony, all of them want to kill Caesar because they are correcting the wrong of him being their ruler. And that's pretty adamant in this chapter. I'm probably missing something because it's like, oh, that's pretty, you know, they're correcting that wrong. Read Act 2, Scene 1, lines 162 through 165. What is the significance? So both of these, I'm going to be reading these to you. It just gave me two things. So we're going to start at 162, which is right here. And we're going to read to 165. Our course will seem too bloody, Caius Cassius, to cut the head off and then hack the limbs, like wrath and death and envy, afterwards. For Antony is but a limb of Caesar. Let us be sacrificers, but not bitchers, Caius. And then 181 again. And for Mark Antony, think not of him, for he can do no more than Caesar's arm when Caesar's head is cut off. I am so happy that it is asking me about this, because I actually underlined this. They are worried about Antony, because I just mentioned that Mark Antony is incredibly devout to Caesar. He quite loves Caesar. And they are worried that Mark Antony will warn Caesar or will find out about their plan and try to stop it. Or if they kill Caesar, that Mark Antony will take the position of power himself. But Brutus is saying that Mark Antony is but a limb of Caesar. He's just a small part of Caesar. Like, he's just like a servant, what is the word? Anyways, like a servant of Caesar, a part of him. He is incredibly devout to Caesar, but he's a little simple-minded fool, okay? He'll be fine. The only reason he has power is because he is, like, worshipful of Caesar, but when Caesar is gone, like, he has no power, really, aside from Caesar. He has no influence. He has nothing but Caesar. He is a part of Caesar, kind of. So when they kill Caesar, he'll be dead too. If you cut off the head of somebody, their arm is going to do nothing. You don't need to cut off their arm. He's saying we don't need to be like butchers in that way. There's no reason to kill Mark Antony. He really cannot do anything to us. And that's the significance of what they are talking about here. Brutus turns down Cicero for the group, but agrees to Caius Ligarius. Give some reasons why each man is thought to be a useful addition to the conspiracy, and what does Brutus's reaction to each man reveal about Brutus's leadership abilities? In this, I'm gonna pause this.